In vanilla WoW, only 3 classes had normal resurrection spells: priests, shamans, and pallies. So 2 classes per faction, since shamans were horde only and pallies were alliance only. Warlock's Soulstone used to only resurrect if you placed it on a player before they died. It was changed to a true battle res in Cataclysm. It can still be used its classic way, however. Druids did not gain a true res until partway through Burning Crusade. Before then, they only had the battle res. In Warcraft 3, Resurrection was an ultimate ability of paladins that would bring back to life the most powerful 6 friendly nearby units. So the first res was kind of a mass resurrection. There are only 4 classes that can battle res currently: Death Knights, Warlocks, Druids, and Hunters with a Moth, Crane, or Quillen pet. Hunters are also the only class to have their very own pet res ability. Other pet classes do not have a revive pet option. They can simply resummon a new pet. It used to be an extremely effective strat to stack the raid with battle resers. This was nerfed and missed to have a limit of battle reses per raid size. In Warlords of Draenor, this was changed slightly, so raid sizes would gain a charge of battle reses based on the size of your group. Shamans are the only class that can self-res, and this res does not count towards the battle res charges. The downside is that it has a very long cooldown that does not reset like other abilities after wipes. Death Knights and Wrath used to be able to resurrect other players and self-resurrect as ghouls, which they could play as. These ghouls had their own attacks and only lasted for a limited time. A spell data mined in the Legion Alpha called Arise and Serve will give Death Knights the ability to res themselves with their battle res, similar to a Warlock soulstoning themselves before a fight. It's rumored that it might be added to the Frost Death Knight's artifact weapon as a trait. Engineers have 3 items that allow them to attempt to resurrect fallen players: the Goblin Jumper Cables with a 33% success rate, Goblin Jumper Cables XL with a 50% success rate, and the Gnomish Army Knife with a 66.7% success rate. The Dark Moon card Twisting Nether gave players a 10% chance of being able to self-res back in vanilla WoW. It was even used in arenas until it was nerfed in late Wrath to not count the player res by it to be counted as alive. Meaning, if you're doing 2s and they kill your partner after you res with the trinket, you'd lose. You can still technically use the trinket today, as while doing research for this video, I've read reports of it still working even at level 100. Molten Core is one of the first raids in WoW. Blizzard did not expect players to have one player to stand back and not enter combat, so that they could res mid-fight. Blizzard would later patch Molten Core to have bosses aggro everyone in the entire raid. After Molten Core, Blizzard would make better aggro from bosses to prevent players from doing this. Mass Resurrection was introduced in Cataclysm and gave every class the ability to resurrect if they were in a guild. In the Cataclysm beta, Mass Res cost mana, meaning rogues, warriors, hunters, and death knights could not use it. Also, in a BC alpha build, paladins had Mass Resurrection for a short time. This makes sense since considering the Warcraft 3 ult for pallies was basically a Mass Resurrection. Currently in live, all specs of druids, priests, paladins, monks, and shamans can res, but could only res 1 player at a time. In Legion, only Resto Druids, Dis/Holy Priests, Holy Paladins, Mistweaver Monks, and Resto Shamans will be able to res, and this is a mass res with no cooldown. Combat res remains unchanged, however. And that's it for some fun facts about res. This video idea and most of its contents were sent to me by a nice fan named Thomas. If you liked the video, I have like a million other videos about random WoW trivia on my channel, including 4 in the middle of the screen to click on.